I am a little girl. People say that I am small even for my age. Sometimes when I walk in the park nearby my house, well-meaning strangers will ask me if I am not afraid to be alone. I always answer, no, and it is the truth. Maybe it isn't the complete truth because I am sometimes afraid at night. That is, unless I have company. I live by myself and the house does get kind of scary without company. I like company very much.
Hello, little girl.
How do you do, sir?
Dear me, you are a polite little girl.
Thank you, sir.
How old are you, my dear?
How old do I look, sir?
Ha ha. Bears out of my contention that a woman's a coquette no matter what her age. To please you, child, I say you're about 12 and very pretty.
I made believe that I saw a friend of mine and went away. It is always about this time that I start talking about my parents. That makes me very uneasy because I have no parents. And I just know that if I told that to a grown-up, there would be trouble. There would be more questions. And if they ever found out that I live alone, well, I just know that they would take me away from my house. I would not like that. It does scare me when I am alone, but sometimes I have company, and that is nice. I remember Tommy. He was very nice. I will tell you about him. It was about a month ago. I think it was a month. Time is money. It's not always easy to remember. I was walking along one of my favorite paths in the park. On a sunny day, you can always find children here. It is fun to play with them. I can forget so many things when I play with them, but even at my happiest, it is always saddening to know that I will see some of them for a very short time. Even so, I must not depress myself. I promise to talk about Tommy, and I will. A ball came rolling along the walk. Here's your ball, little boy. Huh, I'm not so little. I'm sorry, I guess you're a pretty big boy. Sure am, and I'm strong, too. You must be, and you threw that ball very far. I bet girls can't throw like that. No, we can't. We learn different things. What kind of things? This would be a very hard question to answer. There are many things you can tell little boys. There are so many things that one cannot. I have known many of them. Very many. And yet, each one thinks a little bit differently. That is where the danger lies. One cannot give the wrong answer because then they never trust you again. And yet, one must have company. It is all quite tiring and confusing. I was wondering just how to answer Tommy when his governess ran up. She seemed most worried, and then she saw us together. She smiled, I suppose in relief, and then grew quite angry. Tommy, you are a bad boy. Why? Because you ran away and I didn't see you. But I was only chasing my ball. Don't you know there are bad people who steal little boys? But I was only... That'll be enough, Tommy. On top of making me worry myself sick, you give me silly excuses. Little boys should always tell the truth. I am not little. Almost 7 years old and you are being very nasty to me. You are making me very unhappy. You must agree that grown-ups are peculiar. Tommy's governess was worried about him. She said so, but when she found him, she became angry. This has always been a grown-up sort of reaction that has been very hard to understand for a long time. See what I mean? Who is this little girl? She gave me back my ball. That was very kind of you, my dear. Thank you. I like to do nice things for other people, like Tommy. Oh, you know his name? Not till now. You just mentioned it. What is your name? It was a simple enough question, and yet sometimes the simplest of questions are the hardest to answer. Haven't you found so? Things that are hard you can somehow fight through, but unless something warns you, it is the simple word that causes the most worry. Makes you press your hands against your ears and pretend you never heard of the question. Bless little Tommy. He spoke up bravely as he could. She is my friend. Of course she is, Tommy. Let's all go back together and have her meet the rest of the children. I was a bit worried. There were bound to be grown-ups as well as children, and grown-ups always get around to asking one's age. And though I have been answering the question for a long, long time, I'm always thinking that someday I will be called a liar, and somebody will start to investigate. The truth? Oh no, I can never tell that. There were little babies in carriages, and that also worried me. Babies are always frightened when they see me. Even those very new ones that cannot see as yet thrash their little limbs about when I am near. Sometimes they go into convulsions. Maybe it's because they have only come recently. Perhaps in the world they left they had much knowledge, and they have not been in this world long enough to forget everything. They are dangerous. I left quickly as soon as the first baby began to wail, but I promised Tommy I would play with him tomorrow. As I walked up the steps to my house, I began to feel afraid. It is hard for me to describe this fear. It isn't just what grown-ups call an emotion. It is like something solid. I can feel this fear. I always have. I kept hoping that this time they would let me alone. It was no use. As I walked into the house, they all started talking at once.
Where is our food? You know we are hungry. We haven't eaten in weeks.
I was frightened. I always am, because they have so much power. I tried not to look at them. I answered. It's very dangerous to feed you often. The last time I nearly got caught. They began again, but not talking this time. It was much more horrible. I will call it laughing, even though it did not sound at all like any of the different kinds of laughter you have ever heard. They do not know what laughter means. In fact, they have no idea of most of your emotions. They once knew, of course, but that was a long time ago. Now they just regard others as being useful, like myself.
Behold, the little one is frightened. She is always frightened. I am hungry.
One of them uncoiled from the high chandelier and dropped to the floor. The floor was uncarpeted, but the great body made no sound. I have seen this happen thousands of times, but I never get used to it. I closed my eyes, but had to open them at once. They can make me do anything. The scaly, three-cornered head was swaying close to mine. Some of the eyes on the ends of the wobbly tentacles were closed, but enough of them remained open, blinking at me. Enough, I mean, to keep me from moving.
What are you afraid of, little one?
Of people finding out about me.
Ah, you almost expressed fear that people would find out about us.
Even behind a picture hanging crookedly on the wall, a lot of thick, grayish liquid dripped down to the floor. It shivered a little bit, and then changed into a hairy, ropey, horrible thing. It scuttled soundlessly across the floor and joined us. I tried not to look at it. I kept silent while he talked.
Is the little one becoming dangerous? No, she cannot. You know that. We built her so long ago that sometimes I forget. We built her well, for our purpose. But we have locked ourselves by our own cleverness. Little one is weak vessel at times. That's because we made her so. She is to mingle with humans. She must appear to them as such. She must share their weaknesses. I tried not to listen. They had talked this way many, many times. My eyes kept sliding to a pile of dirt in the corner. I should have been used to it by now, but my heart jumped with fright as a huge red eye, dragging some disgusting threads of flesh, suddenly rolled out of the dirt. It joined the others. I could get used to the way they constantly change their shapes. It's just that they are so quiet. Even with a whole room full of them talking at once, their voices cannot be heard by anyone but me. That is the truth. And now the three of them were speaking in their soundless voices. It is too bad that we must depend upon the little one for food.
But we must. It's part of the agreement with him.
Yes, I know. And sometimes I think he got the best of the bargain. How can you tell? After all, the agreement is but 1,000 years old.
You are right. You must remember, in justice to him, that our method of eating gives us wondrous enjoyment. He tacked that on to the agreement.
True. The vivid ecstasy of tasting food while somebody else eats is a never-ending source of new pleasures. And do not forget that the little one who eats for us not only transfers the delightful sensations to us, but enhances our gratification with her sensations.
Perhaps we did get the best of the bargain. Oh, this talk has made me hungrier than ever.
I wanted so badly to run away. Wanted it more than anything, because I knew what was coming.
Listen well, little one.
I listen.
And obey.
Good. You'll feed us tomorrow night. Tomorrow night?
Yes, there must be no failure on your part.
But...
Yes?
Nothing. I was just thinking, I met someone today.
Excellent, little one. That'll make your test so much easier.
I tried to go, but I couldn't. It meant they were not through talking to me. I always feel funny when I hear their voices, is because their voices do not make any sound.
Do not forget what we enjoy best, little one.
I will not forget.
That is well, you once made a mistake.
But that was long ago, so very long ago.
We have not forgotten. Remember that.
This time they let me go. As I turned, my eye caught a pretty shaft of moonlight coming through the window. They knew immediately that I enjoyed what I saw, so I was not surprised when the moonbeam was cut off. They simply blinded out. I suppose the reason is to save my emotions for the feast. All of my emotions are wanted then, for at least those times they relish and savor my thoughts and feelings as much as the food I eat. You would find it very unpleasant to watch the times that I eat. I think you would go quite crazy. Next day, I walked to the same spot in the park. Tommy was very happy to see me, and I was happy to see him. Hello, Tommy. Hello, gosh, gee! Tommy was so excited that he kept hopping from one foot to the other. He just couldn't keep his little body still. He tried to speak again, but spilled his words out so fast that it was impossible to understand him, so I spoke to him. I had to anyway. There was little time until tonight, and I had so much to do. What are you so excited about, Tommy?